I wanted to first start by offering my condolences to Pam's family. Thank you all for being here today. And a special thank you to all police officers and first responders who have traveled from near and far to be with us. It's amazing to see so many people gathered in one place to honor the lives of these incredible human beings. I'm sure they are looking over us now, humbled by each person that has shown love, appreciation, and respect. I hope they feel the overwhelming outpouring of support the entire community has shown them and their families over the past week. My name is Mark Ferguson, and I've had the privilege of knowing Lieutenant Dustin DeMonte for over 20 years. To be honest, I never actually referred to him by his rank. For me, I did what I do with anyone I love. I invent silly nicknames that make no sense to anybody but the two of us. On any given day, he could have gone by Dust, Dusty, Dust Mop, Trust, Big Country, and Dustin Dunkin' Donuts DeMonte. We met how most kids do that are 11 or 12 years old in Middletown. Sharing middle school classes at Keglin, extracurricular activities like band, and playing organized sports. Eventually, this was a lot of pickup basketball and bowling. But in the beginning, it was mainly baseball. I have to be honest though, Dustin was the one actually playing baseball. I spent most games carving mini golf holes into the crushed rock of the dugout and playing putt-putt with the other bench warmers. Dustin was the most pure soul from day one, unmistakably gentle. Like many of us here, I gravitated towards his friendship immediately. I would have never guessed all those years ago how remarkably consistent he would remain. The epitome of a friend. Selfless and relentlessly caring. There wasn't a single time he didn't ask me about how my wife was doing, what my parents were up to, and what chapter I was planning next in my life. He never talked about himself first. Not because he wasn't proud of his family or his achievements, but because he genuinely wanted to know about mine. We experienced so many of life's biggest moments together. Graduating high school and college, starting careers, getting married, and having kids of our own. He so dearly loved his entire family. His wife, his kids, his parents, his siblings, his cousins, his in-laws. Of course, I can't really talk about Dustin and not mention his amazing wife, Laura. The love and happiness he found in Laura was something we talked about finding as teenagers. Hoping we would one day meet someone who had as much love to give as we did. I'm so glad he experienced a love like that. Man, did he deserve it. The banter between Dustin and Laura was so infectious, and we always wanted to be around it. He loved when we were poking fun at each other. You couldn't fit a bigger smile on that bald head of his. Of course, he could never hide that smile when talking about his beautiful children, Phoebe and Porter. You could tell how proud he was to be a father. One of the hardest things is knowing that he won't be here to see what they become. But how can they not grow up to be incredible when he's such a deep part of them? He set an amazing example for me. And it's devastating that my children won't get to experience who Uncle Dustin is. Brian, Dustin, and I had so much fun together. A lifetime of laughter and joy crammed into 20 years. We were never scared to be ourselves in front of Dustin, and we knew that we could always lean on him. He stayed true to himself. It would never change, no matter who he was around. He was our rock. He was his family's rock. He was everyone's rock. A constant force of good. The older I get, the more I understand and appreciate the importance friends have in my life. They are the people you choose to be around. We kept choosing Dustin, and he kept choosing us. He was the best. Dustin, your perfect family will be surrounded by our love. It's impossible for your memory to fade when you've left such a lasting impression on me. I love you, brother. I miss you already, and I look forward to one day seeing you again.
Now another of Brian's precious friends, Brian TENCZA, will come and share.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian TENCZA. I'd like to first begin by thanking Laura and the entire DeMonte family for allowing us this honor to speak on our best friend, Dustin. I'd also like to thank everyone who came out to show their support today and for the amazing acts of kindness and generosity shown this past week. I'd also like to extend my sincere condolences to the Hamsey family and to thank Officer Iorado for what he did that night. To all the officers here today, thank you. It takes a special person to serve, and you do it day in and day out, putting your lives on the line to protect ours. I want you to know that we appreciate you, and what you do doesn't go unnoticed. Most of you here today know Dustin as Sergeant and now Lieutenant DeMonte, the hero. Mark and I are here to tell you a little bit about the Dustin we knew and grew up with. During my college years at UConn, I was a member of the grounds crew here at Rentschler Field. The last time I was at the stadium, Mark and Dustin were in the stands right over there, pelting me with snowballs as I was trying to work. And I never thought the next time I stepped foot inside this field would be to say goodbye to our best friend. Before he transferred to Central Connecticut State University to pursue a criminology degree, Dustin and I were freshman year roommates at UConn. We practically invented YouTube in our dorm room, making music videos of each other lip syncing and dancing. But Dustin and I met before college, long before college, and our friendship took root in the early days of backyard wiffle ball. It may not sound like anything to you, but to us, it was the major leagues. Back then, we'd post on our instant messengers, wiffle ball at Brian's. Soon, word would spread, and Dustin was always one of the first to arrive. But this wasn't just wiffle ball, this was an event. We had lights, music, and I even put patterns in the grass like the pro fields, even though Dustin would tease me for it. We would play until we were forced to shut the lights off, and if any of my old neighbors here today, apologies again for keeping you up late. As many of you know, Dustin loved baseball. He was a huge Yankee fan. Go Red Sox. Dustin and I were members of the Middletown High School baseball team. Dustin played catcher, a perfect position for him because he could lead and direct others, something he continued to do throughout his life. Dustin was a big guy in high school, but his body matured faster than his voice. I can still hear that voice cracking as he yelled, "2 outs!" from behind home plate. Dustin was someone I felt comfortable going to with any problem, whether it be on the baseball field or in life, a quality every good leader has. I was so impressed by Dustin's work ethic. The three of us could be hanging out until 10, 11 o'clock at night, but somehow Dustin woke up before the sun to open the Cromwell Dunkin' Donuts. Then Mark and I would wander in later that day while he was working, begging for free donuts, which he would never give us, because he was an honest guy. You could always trust the Dust. He carried that work ethic into his career as a police officer, always striving to better himself for his family. I was a groomsman in Dustin's wedding, and he was excited to stand by my side on my wedding day next month. I was looking forward to seeing him and Mark on the dance floor doing the most ridiculous dance moves. Last month was my bachelor party up in Vermont. It centered around playing golf, a sport Dustin did not play. He went out and bought his own version of golf attire, a full button-up shirt with bananas all over it, shin-high white crew socks, and a hat that read, "Have more fun." While warming up on the driving range, Mark attempted to instruct Dustin on how to hit a golf ball, which ultimately resulted in a very large divot and the driver head going much further than the ball itself. I can still hear the cheers from his group through the trees anytime he made solid contact, followed by an immediate 4 as the ball sailed into an adjacent group on another hole. That morning, I sat with Dustin on the porch, discussing how things were going with my wedding planning in the military, his kids and his job. A pretty simple conversation. If I could go back on that porch again, I'd tell him how proud I am of him and the extraordinary life he's built. How I look up to him as a role model, a husband, and a service member. I think the hat he wore that weekend is a great reminder of how he'd want us all to live our lives from here on out. Tell your family you love them more often. Cherish the moments, big and small, and very simply, have more fun. As an Air Force officer and pilot, Dustin and I would have conversations centered around service. Dustin loved being a police officer. He was drawn to the brotherhood, cared about his community, and genuinely wanted to make a difference in people's lives. That's exactly what he did. He put service before self. The Bible says, "Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends." Dustin, we're not sure where to go from here without you. But please know, Laura and all your children will be looked after. Phoebe and Porter will hear all of these stories one day and know what an amazing man their father was. I love you, and I'll miss you.